pissed off. And so what did I do? I took that item and I threw it back at the other table. All right, good morning. So, we ain't did one of these talk conversations in a long time, but I'm really just, oh my gosh, okay, I'm dropping stuff. I'm really just thinking about everything in my life, how things are. Wow, my neck is getting lighter. Do y'all see that? Yo, we're gonna work on that side. Yo, I'm getting a neck again. My collar is trying to come in. Yeah. Anywho, a very long time. I remember when I was like 490 and I was in the 490s and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to get to 5. And then I got to 5 and I was like 515. I was like, okay, I don't want to get higher. Then I was like 550. And then when I was dating this guy, I was in a relationship. I guess you can call it happy weight. Girl, I was 580 and I was like, oh my gosh. So, a lot of people didn't know I was that big. It's like, oh my goodness, you carry it so well. Thank you. Thank you very much. But it was a heavy load. It was a heavy load to carry and bear. And so now that I'm under 450, I have never shared my weight because I wasn't happy at that number. I'm always happy in myself because I have to find the good in everything. Because if I cannot find or for the moment accept something, then I'm going to go crazy. And what that means is not daily beating myself up because look, by tomorrow I'm not going to be, 250. When I was 5, I wasn't going to lose 10 pounds in a day. You know what I'm saying? So for me to beat myself up on this day because of the weight or whatever, it was not beneficial. But listen, I was looking at a picture when I was a junior in high school. And my friend was like, oh my goodness, you had a long neck. I was like, I know. And I feel like it's coming back. It's amazing because I thought I was so huge in high school. I thought I was like massive. It's funny how you think you massive until you get massive. So for me, I never was like, oh, I won't be this weight. I have things like I want, which I'm gonna try it tomorrow, wearing jeans and a button up. I haven't, like, it's crazy stuff. I haven't worn jeans and a button up in so long. I love a good collar button up. I love a good jean. Growing up, that was the thing. Like, my teacher, she would wear these. Like, I thought she was the coolest. She was like, her confidence. I didn't know it was confidence, but that was her sassiness. She walked in like she owned the place. Her confidence was blazing. This makes sense. So I've always been like, I don't know where my self-love come from because I don't feel like my family members like have it like in the amount that I have on either side. Like, I know they love themselves, but I don't, the way I like outwardly show it and I want to encourage other people, I don't think they have it. But now that I sit here and think, my teachers growing up, listen, so it wasn't second grade, so third grade. Third grade, I had a teacher named Miss Haynes. It's so funny because when I started doing this one job, I actually worked with her daughter, full circle, and she helped me, and I helped her daughter with some school stuff. It was so crazy. Anywho, my third grade teacher, Miss Haynes, beautiful woman, voluptuous, confident. She dressed. I don't think I've ever seen her in sweatpants. I feel bad. As a kid, I used to steal the candy out of her closet. I just thought about that. That's not funny, I promise, but I just thought about that. I was in third grade. I used to tear up that candy because you get like a little treat. That's when I knew I had a problem. But anywho, we can talk about it because it was actually second grade, but that's neither here nor there. So she was always confident, always put together. She wasn't like, you know, she was well groomed. She dressed nice, always put together, very clean, very sharp, but not to the point where I felt like to be a third grade teacher, it was too much. It was impractical. It was very practical, but like you could tell her standards. And that's when I was like, I want to be here when I grow up. Okay. Then I went to the fourth and the fifth grade, and I got Miss Santos. Well, it was Miss King, and then she got married, became Miss Santos. Listen, this woman, short little feisty thing, always wore heels. That I can remember. I think I seen her in gym shoes one time. And when I talk about confidence is skyrocket, listen, confidence was skyrocket, y'all. I was like, okay, I want to be her. And she was, I think that was my first teacher that was a AKA or anyone like, Alpha Kappa Alpha, incorporated. And I was like, whatever she do, I want to do, because you couldn't tell her nothing. She was on it. I love how she cared about us as her class. I went to Toledo Academy of Business and Technology. She was the bomb.com. And now that I think about it, it made sense that I grabbed onto that because, you go and you see these teachers every single day. And so sometimes I think parents may wonder, like, where did your child get this? Why they act like, who is their teacher? And so with that, I was like, oh yeah, I was living how she walked, how she dressed. And I remember she used to wear these wide leg jeans and like some kind of button up. She used to tuck it, I'm not a tucker, and some like clinkly clink heels. And she had this little squeaky voice, like, and she would walk so fast around the whole building. But her head was always up. Miss Haynes, her head was always up. If they was going through anything, if they was sweating, if they were depressed on the outside, listen, when they was at work, you could not tell the difference. I promise you couldn't tell the difference. And then I went to and then we had a teacher named Miss Flags, but she was very nice. She was from a different culture. She was from London, so she come into America in these schools. She was not cut out for it. She was very like a delicate flower. And I felt like working with us, there was some kind of, because of our day-to-day life, there was some kind of armor you need to have on to kind of bounce off certain things. And I don't think she understood. Not that we were, trying to be mean to her. It's just like we were a little bit different in her culture. And so she couldn't handle it too long. She ended up quitting. And so then we got Miss Lots, even though she became somebody else. And so even her, like, she was herself and she was confident. She didn't take no mess from us. She was strong, beautiful, dark woman. All the other ones, like the other two teachers, I feel like they were like my complexion. So it was, even like with complexion, it all played a difference, right? So it was kind of nice to see her being a deeper, richer chocolate skin, and she didn't play no games. She was tall. She owned her height, but it wasn't like to belittle somebody else's height. She taught us business. She allowed us to choose. We had like a little ice cream, whatever. So that school definitely helped plant a lot of seeds of entrepreneurship for me. And so we had Lottie Toddy ice cream. Each class had their own business. And I'm in the freaking fifth grade. We talking about fourth and fifth grade. We did resumes. We did mock interviews. We did business plans. We did all of this stuff. And I'm just like, fourth and fifth grade. And now I know there were things at that school didn't go so great. I don't know if they're still open anymore. There were like adult things going on that, like, I don't know if it was all fun. I don't really remember, but I remember there were some things that weren't like by the books or whatever, but the influence that they had on us. I remember I did my first presentation on slavery, and we had to do our trifold presentation. Listen, I'm in the 4th and 5th grade doing trifold presentations. And this was a charter school. I went to this other school called Royal Academy, but I feel like I ran it. And we had these 2 teachers. They were Caucasian. And it wasn't like a race thing, but the one teacher, I don't know. The one teacher had a family member who was in the class, and that family member is very sensitive. Like, I don't know if she was going through a lot at home, but she was uber sensitive. Like, I feel like that extra shield or protection you need to have, she didn't have it. So, that school, it was more of like seeing people being different and understanding that the world is made up of so much. Even though I was used to this certain culture and neighborhood of like having a little bit more toughness than the rest of the world because we had to. That was like, no, everyone's not like that, you know. And so that was a little eye opener, and it was cool. I kind of got to, it was more fun, cause like I think I learned about manipulation there, because you can like how your words can manipulate people. And so I didn't stay there long, but it's okay. So then that was, I don't remember what grade. I think that was part of 4th grade, because their grades were different. It was just weird. Anyway, it wasn't for me. I wouldn't say it's weird. It wasn't structured for what I needed. So then from there, I did 5th grade, finished 5th grade. Then in the 6th grade, I went to public school. And that is when I got Mr. Webb. Listen, y'all. Mr. Webb came every single day in some kind of suit, some kind of dress shoes. Period. You hear me? Period. That was my first like full male teacher. I've never had a male teacher like for anything, especially a black male. I did not know I was gonna be giving y'all my whole school diaspora. Is it diaspora? If not, I just like the way I said that word. Mr. Webb was the bomb.com, but yet still fearful. He hated when you smacked your teeth. Like, yo, baby. We had to do penalties. I would not smack my teeth. I would not smack my teeth. Like, he literally broke that for me. I don't really do it now, even as a 30-some-year-old dog, because it was like I couldn't do it even outside of school because I forget and then do it in school. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. So I remember listen, y'all, oh my gosh. I was such a mess. You hear me? I remember being in 6th grade, and I was, of course, big then. I wasn't the tallest. So before that, I was like, I feel like I was the tallest in the class and the biggest, right? So there, I was like the biggest as far as weight. But it was a girl who I believe was taller than me. Or maybe that was in 3rd grade. No, in 3rd grade, she was taller than me. But anywho, we were at lunch, and being funny because I was the fattest kid in class, probably in the whole 6th grade. We had a girls' table. We had a boys' table. I mostly ate alone. I had an appetite there, and they want to give me one little circle pizza. I wanted more. I love my chocolate milk. I love my cookies, whatever. Somebody from the guys' table came over, was like, oh, such want me to bring you this because they thought you may want it or whatever, being funny with some food. I want to say it was an apple or it was an orange juice. I don't know why that's sticking out. Inside, I was boiling. You hear me? I was hot. I was pissed off. And so what did I do? I took that item and I threw it back at the other table. And that is how I started a food fight in the 6th grade. Y'all, next thing I knew, I remember somebody from behind us throwing food. Food was going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I was like, oh, shoot. This is how slick I am. So, literally I started this food fight. I got up. I went to I went to the office. I said, oh my God. I went to the office. I said, oh, I said, oh my goodness, somebody's. I said, oh my goodness, somebody started a food fight in there, and I don't want to get in trouble. Y'all, I was a, I was I was a somebody. I was a somebody who started that food fight. What happened was we got in trouble because I think it was sixth and fifth grade in there. You know, we're the sixth graders. We're the at that time our school that was the last grade. And after that, you go to junior high for seventh and eighth. We didn't have middle schools, elementary, junior high, high school. So we're like the supposed to be the mature ones of the school. You know, the big brothers and big sisters of the school. Y'all, when I tell you, then we got in trouble. Mr. Webb was like, I don't remember verbatim, but it was basically like whoever didn't need to confess, or if you know who didn't need to confess. So we had these journals. And I think in my journal I ended up confessing because they read it anyway. And I was like, you know, I started for blah, 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 blah reasons or whatever. And I didn't get in trouble. I didn't get suspended for nothing like that. But it is what it is. So then, so basically this is not about that. This is about the people who were influential in my life. Mr. Webb had a confidence. This man had a confidence, okay? Couldn't tell him nothing. I was with some jeans, but there definitely was, you can notice amongst the black teachers where they definitely dressed more professional, as if, you know, they're going to corporate in a sense, or like maybe a casual Friday, but not really casual. It's like a bump up from there compared to some of the other teachers, as if they were dressing as if they were administrators. That's what I'm saying. Mr. Webb sometimes dressed better than administrative. I remember we had this one principal, his name was Mr. Scott. He was so tall. Oh, I did not like him. They dressed like Mr. Webb, like Mr. Scott would wear like a button up and some slacks and pants. You know, he was the principal. But Mr. Webb, you thought he could have been the principal because full suit. You hear me? Full suit. And then he had hydraulic. Okay, listen. So this class has taught me how to dream, sixth grade. We had to write where we could be in 30 years. 30 years is now, because at the time I was 13. No, 20 years. 20 years. Yeah. At that time, about like 13 or 12 or 13. And it's like, where you going to be 32, 33? Granted, we not. I was supposed to then had three kids. 3 or 2 kids, adopt another 3. I'm supposed to have 5 kids, be married, living in St. Louis because I was in love with Nelly. So I feel like I was going to move to St. Louis. I was supposed to have a nonprofit already, a nonprofit after school program, because at that time I was in this program called UMADOP and they were so influential on who I was as a person. So then, where did Miss Allen fall in? Because I remember Miss Allen, she was our teacher. I think she was my 5th grade teacher at Toledo Academy of Business Technology, because then she also worked at UMADA. And Mr. Peterson, I remember him. Was he my teacher? So okay, we're going to back up. So in 5th grade, in 4th grade, the teachers used to switch. So you have homeroom, right? And I feel like the teachers would switch. We had to switch classes. Yeah. And I remember I had Mr. Peterson and Miss Allen. But then when I was going to UMADOP, the program I told you about, that inspired me to want to have a nonprofit, which we ain't did that, but that's okay. I mean, that's neither here nor there, but you know, they worked at UMADOP as well. So I was like, oh, familiar faces. And then we had UMADOP. So I was in UMADOP 6th grade, 7th, and 8th. By high school, I kind of faded away because like I was so involved in high school, whatever. And so the other black influential people in my life who were confident, so I wanted to be confident. So like, I guess I'm like, it literally, when I tell you it takes a village to raise, these are the people who are part of my village. You know what I'm saying? Whether they like said, oh yeah, came to my mom and said I'm gonna be a part of the village, or just because of the things I naturally participated in were a part of the village that helped raise me. And this is where my confidence came from. You know what I'm saying? And not only, don't get me wrong, because my mom was there cheering me on and all this other stuff. Always telling me to believe in myself. A lot of times parents would give you what they didn't have. It's because they didn't have it, they didn't, doesn't mean they didn't understand the importance of it.